guys, welcome to the Fig House. How you guys doing today? We're chiming in on homeschooling, a very conflicted subject. So we're going to be sharing as a family today. Pull up a chair, pull up a snack, join us for the convo. As for those of you who don't know, our kids have actually been homeschooled for 10 years. Matthew was actually in second grade. He's now a senior. So they've been homeschooled way prior to everything that's happened. We opted into it. Many of you did not opt into it. You were kind of forced into it. So we're going to talk about homeschooling, the good, the bad, the ugly, some tips from them as students, and then some tips from us as parents. So I think we're going to all jump in and kind of share a little bit with you guys. But we're talking homeschooling. So if you got kids, pull up as a family, and let's just share this convo of homeschooling. So
who wants to start?
Who wants to share first?
Let's talk to the one that's been in homeschool her whole life.
That's very true.
Me.
Whole life homeschooling.
Yeah.
Whole life.
What are some goods? What are some things that you're like, man, I really enjoy it because of?
Yeah.
I think like the time kind of like helps, like that we can do it at any time we want to. So like the time schedule, because we have plans usually. So like, you know.
So the flexibility.
The flexibility, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
That's your favorite part of homeschooling?
Yeah.
I mean, it did allow us at some point to take vacations and do different things.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah. So just that.
Yeah.
Any cons, you think?
To be honest, I don't think so. I really love it. So.
Okay.
Okay. What about you boys? You boys had a chance to actually go to a school right prior to, and then you transitioned into homeschool. How did you guys feel? Or looking at things now, how do you guys take it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really like how it's more on you, but it's not too like, pushy about it. Like, you have to be on top of your classes, reach out to your teachers, but like it doesn't feel as stressful as people would think.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best part for me, but it's also kind of a double-edged sword because, if you don't have the self-discipline enough for it, then you might struggle a bit more with it. Might require a bit more help from your parents or teachers.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, it was, I think, when you guys were younger.
Yeah.
I think mommy would actually help out a lot to kind of sit there with you guys, walk you guys through it. So as you've gotten older, it's gotten easier.
Until they
so
got the
I
hang
can
of
see
it.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it took you some time.
So
give yourself some grace. If you're having struggling during homeschooling,
It's
give
hard.
yourself
The
grace because it's hard.
Yeah.
It really isn't
beginning
easy.
is definitely hard.
Yeah.
A bit of a rough start with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now you guys have gotten really good at it, but what about you?
I think multiple different things. I think the only thing that was missing for me was the community,
Mm.
but we kind of offset it with that with soccer or with church. So that wasn't really something that affected me. I think just with school, it's just knowing yourself, knowing your distractions, your weaknesses.
Wow.
Because you could get distracted very easily.
Yeah.
Either looking at YouTube or just like spacing out. It's just a bunch of different things. So I think just knowing what time works best for you, like if you're a better worker in the morning or at night, like that all varies too.
Yeah.
So I'd say
those
that's
are
for
some
sure.
good points. So those are some things you've liked or disliked, or some things
I think those are the
can
things
get ugly.
I think both. So
it.
just like that's like the good, the bad, obviously the distractions.
Yeah.
Getting complacent, procrastinating, those would be like the ugly things that like it's kind of hard to set you on pace unless you have somebody telling you or a teacher calling you. So I think
kind of that accountability,
the
right?
accountability.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Get that. I totally get that. I think as parents, what did you see in homeschool that you were like, when they first started as opposed to now, you've seen the transition for them and their growth?
I think when they first started, it was hard just because trying to figure out what links you have to go to, what assignment you have to complete. So I know different homeschools have different programs, and the one we're on, it's called Connections Academy. So that one gives them a to-do list. I think the hardest one for me was when Sarah started homeschooling because she never went to preschool or kindergarten.
Yeah.
So she had to learn everything online, like reading, everything. And since Matthew and David went to school, they learned how to read. And I thought it was going to be, it was hard because she couldn't do anything on her own. But once we got the hang of it and she learned how to read and she learned how to, she actually reads really good, really fast.
Very
So,
fast.
yeah. So
She was timed by her teachers, by
yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
So she reads really, really fast.
So I think that was the hardest part. I think it's definitely discouraging in the beginning just because you feel overwhelmed with trying to make sure you don't fail as a parent teaching your kids on your
Yeah.
own. So I think that pressure gets hard. But once you get the hang of it and once, you know, they get the rhythm of things and you have your day-to-day things to do,
like
it gets
your schedule,
easy.
huh?
It gets easier for sure. So I know it's been hard this last year for a lot of students, a lot of kids just jumping into homeschooling.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah.
plan on it. They didn't probably want to do it.
Forced into it.
And
yeah.
I know it's different systems for different schools too. So, but I think that was the most challenging part. But after that, it became easier for sure. With
Just so
them.
you know, Rachel, she's my wife, right? Like, we've been married 18 plus years, you know, and we've dated and we've been together for such a long time. But she is super modest and humble. Like, if you know her, you know her. If you don't, you're missing out. Get to know her. But honestly, though, like, what she took on to do that, and I tip my hat to any mom out there, any dad out there, like anyone that's trying to help their kids through the homeschooling or tried and got frustrated. Like, give yourself grace. But I tip my hat to you because I saw her journey. Like, she was juggling 3 kids, all under a certain age, and homeschooling all 3 of them in the process, while doing a lot of other things for us as a family. So honestly, like, it was a lot of work. So she sits here very humbly saying like, yo, you know, it was hard in the beginning, but like, no, like what she went through and did, honestly, superhero status. So I just want to tip my hat to anyone out there. Like, I know our kids are grown now. They make it look easy, to be honest. They make parenting look easy on us. They make us look a certain way as parents, but to be honest, they're just great kids. So that helped a lot in the process for her. Matthew having to do more independent work, David having to be independent while being fidgety, while having to get up and run around a little bit. So there was a lot. So Rachel did a lot. So I just want to commend you for that, because it really is a lot.
I just want to say that I love in this season we're in now because Matthew and David have gone through the classes that Sarah has gone to, so now they're able to help her out, which I think I just love seeing that the fact that they
became
know,
tutors.
Yeah.
They became TAs for their younger sibling. So I think that's amazing to hear. Like, even while we're, you know, working from home and doing things at home, we're hearing them jump in from one room to another and say, hey, let me help you with that. Or Dave, can you help me out with that? Yeah. Or Matthew, go. So I love hearing that dynamic now as they get older. So I just want to encourage you. Like, if you have been feeling really frustrated, really like stressed out about it, there's hope. There's hope. They've done really well. Like, it was hard in the beginning, but where they're at now, such independent learners, they really don't need us at all. Like, I don't even know why we're here as parents, to be honest.
Yeah, this
like,
is just
sometimes we'll have to go to the grocery store. We'll make a run. They're like, oh, we got this. We'll come home. They already made lunch for themselves. They already did everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they're washing their clothes. I don't even know why we're here, to be honest. But I just want to share that with you guys. So I just want to encourage anyone out there, if you're watching this and you're going through the homeschool, or, you know, you've gone through the harder portion of it, it does get easier. There is hope. Be encouraged. You will be okay. It will work out. So I think what Rachel touched on feeling like a failure as a parent, when you see your child struggling with something. I know we've, you know, seen them grow. David early on didn't have a speech impediment, but there was something as far as his development for speech that we as parents were really concerned about. We talked to speech therapists, and, you know, here he is taking above grade level classes. So since he enrolled in homeschooling, he's been taking a year higher the whole time. So he's, you know, now as a junior, he's taken half of his senior classes already. So, you know, there is hope. Like, be encouraged. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some breathing room and grace, and take a breather. You'll be all right. So I just want to share that from like our perspective. But hey, I'm kind of thirsty. You guys down to go get a boba?
Sure.
I'm down.
I'm down.
Don't mean to interrupt this, but you're more than welcome to join us. We're going to go get some bobas real quick, and we'll come back and finish up on some tips from them directly on some things that can really help as a student homeschooling. And then we'll throw in a couple of tips as parents of what can help in that process. So tune in, follow us on the journey to go get some bobas real quick.
Let's go.
Be right back.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
Oh man, here we go. Boba time. Extra big. The chubs. Well, hey guys, glad you guys joined us on a little trip to get some boba. We're back. We're gonna continue off with some ideas of suggestions or tips, maybe for someone that's homeschooling, from the students themselves, as well as us as parents. Will kind of chime in and drop a couple things. But what do you guys have as far as tips or suggestions for, students that are homeschooling, that are new to it, or having a hard time, or something that maybe you guys have experienced also, right, during this time and in homeschooling? What do you guys think? You guys got one?
You can go first if you want to.
Probably just, set a time frame for yourself. I mean, for me, I honestly feel like I work better at night. So sometimes, like, when I'm on track and stuff, like on a Friday night or something, when I have nothing, or Saturday night, I just do some homework for the next day, just so I'll have a lighter load because I feel more focused at night. Procrastination too. Just do it when you have it. If you hold on to it too long, it's gonna pile up. So
Stacks up, for sure. How do you handle when it's stacked up though? How do you come back? Because I think that's a good point for someone, right? Like when you feel overwhelmed, like, and you've had those moments, right? When you guys are kind of overwhelmed with classes, or some of them are carried over into different days. How do you snap yourself out? Or what's something that you can recommend to somebody when they're going through that?
Probably just stay focused. Don't feel down on yourself. What I do is I just like zone in, and just for like the whole day until I have to go to sleep, just making sure I'm like doing all the classes I need to, making sure I'm focused, calling on teachers, asking if I need help, and that sort of thing. So
it's cool. So reaching out, just diving in, focused, right?
Yeah.
Take it one assignment at a time, maybe, also, because just looking at that number of overdues could be like a lot, right? So just one assignment at a time,
or sometimes a subject at a time. I think that's helpful.
Wow, that's a good one.
Just focus on math today, or just focus on English, depending on
that's good
the classes you have.
What do you think, Dave?
For me personally, I like to kind of create a schedule of what I would like to do, and then kind of pick like a minimum amount of work that I need to do. So like, let's say there's like 2 tests and like just like regular 3 regular classes after. I'd say I'd want to do all 5, but if anything, do 1 of the tests and 2 of the regular lessons, just to kind of take it as like kind of like an even pace, instead of doing like 2 tests all at once, or like taking a test and assessments, and then you're fried after all that, and then you try to take another test, and it might like tire you out a bit mentally. So I try to have a optimum and minimal amount of work that I'd want to do for the day, and aim somewhere in between. And whenever like I get like like overloaded on like a specific course, I tend to go for like doing a little bit of each. So if I have like a math test, and then like after I do that, I go to like English and history, just to kind of change it, because I feel like a lot of one class in particular, it kind of affects you. You kind of get like over it really fast. So I try to change it up a little bit, just to make it more interesting.
Cool option for somebody, right? Like if you're feeling math is a lot, let me do some history or some English to kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Taking that breather in between, right? Like you're talking about, pace yourself, but space it out. Those are all great points.
Yeah.
Sarah?
I'd say like taking breaks in between your classes, so it doesn't feel so overwhelming when you do them.
So interesting though, huh? Like I think we've done like online college courses before, and it's so interesting how like taking one test online is like more draining than when you actually went into the class to take a test. I don't know, that's how I felt. I mean, But I can see how online you got 2 tests, 2 quizzes. It just feels like a lot. So I can totally get that. Yeah. Any other tips or suggestions for anybody out there still going through the homeschool and struggling through or learning to come out of it stronger that you guys have?
Probably just take your time. Like, honestly, like that old expression, just time flies, is like, I felt like I just got into high school not that long ago, and I literally graduated in like 2 months, if anything, 1 month. So it's like, yeah, just take your time. If you feel like you're missing out on time, just, I want to do something else. I'd rather do something else. It's better to focus on it now than like have to focus on it later. So yeah, I say take your time.
That's good. What about us as parents? What do you have for some moms or parents out there?
I mean, I think what I've told the kids when they feel overwhelmed, I see them get overwhelmed when they're backed up or don't understand a subject, is just step away for a little bit and try to come back when you're feeling better, or try to reach out for help if you do need help from either your parents or siblings or just friends, maybe that could help you with the subject you're struggling with. And that's it. And just don't be too hard on yourselves, for sure. Take it, like Matthew said, one day at a time and one class at a time. Yeah. And
I think as parents, a biggest thing is watching your kids feel a certain way of frustration, right? Kind of flares up or different things during subjects. I think I've walked in and seen them and I know the look, right? Like as a parent, you know your kids so well that you know the look of like, I'm really not handling this right now. I'm frustrated. I feel out of it. And always the check-in factor. I think as a dad, that's always my thing. I love checking in with them. So I'm always walking in saying, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? How are you feeling? You look like you need a break. Why don't you go take a break? Why don't you go outside? Go to the front yard, go to the backyard, or go hit the punching bag, or do something to kind of change up the mental block. So I think that's something that I love doing since they were little. Like I'll always come in and check them or say, hey, go grab a snack. Have you eaten yet? Have you drank anything yet? I think those are great ways as parents that we can kind of encourage them along the road, as opposed to coming in and saying, you're not done yet, which I think is something that is counterproductive when they're feeling a certain way or frustrated, and you come in and you're like, yo, you're still not done. You're still not finished with that. You're still not, we got to go, whatever the case is. But I think as a parent, how do I find ways, right, to encourage them or to stand with them or help them or say, hey, like, have you reached out? Have you asked questions? And just kind of go down that checklist to see how they're doing and suggest that with them. Sometimes I've just come in to have a convo with them to change their mind of the block into something different. So just to kind of distract into like, hey, like, what's up with music? Are you playing your guitar? Are you kind of, sometimes that little talk can kind of help you kind of unblock maybe something that you felt in an assignment or as they were doing their classes, right? So we've done that, I think, as parents.
And doing things like this, like just going to get a boba just because, I
think the flexibility of what Matthew talked about, Sarah mentioned it, right, which is the time flexibility. I love that from this aspect of homeschooling. And I think it's finding ways where you can be flexible with time and know that, if they need to do classes, are they willing to offset that? Scheduling is important, but at the same time, how do I learn to be flexible in my schedule and not it be so rigid that sometimes it's just overwhelming and I feel no breathing room in that. So sometimes when they felt like that, something like what we did today is really what we do. It's like, hey, you guys want to go get a boba? You guys want to go pick up lunch? You guys want to go for a little walk somewhere and come back? And I think them knowing that they have to do classes when they come back, they're coming back, seeing it from a different vantage point, different perspective, maybe clearer eyes, maybe fresh pair of eyes. And I think sometimes we all need that. We all need to step away and kind of see things differently to be able to adjust that. So I appreciate you guys sharing your homeschool journey. And hopefully this encouraged someone else, this helped someone else. And thank you guys for joining us at the Fig House for the convo. And we're going to go ahead and finish up our bobas, but we'll catch you guys. Subscribe, follow, listen. We appreciate you guys even taking the time to join us at the table. So from our house to your house, the Fig House to your house, we love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.